Welcome to the Bridge of Two podcast.
Welcome, everybody, back to the bridge.
Back to the Bridge of Two.
The bridge.
The bridge is standing.
It is still standing, believe it or not. It bridged us from 2022 to 2023.
It's true. We walked across.
We walked across that bridge.
Right as the stroke of midnight fell.
Yep.
I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
We actually didn't. If we'd been recording, didn't we last year actually record on New Year's Eve?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
We were
I don't
so
think
dedicated.
so. No, I think I worked New Year's Eve.
Okay.
I don't remember. I can't barely remember past last week, dude.
Whoa. Well, welcome to season 2.
Apparently, we're in season 2.
Of Bridge of Two.
We're on the other side of the bridge. Season 3, if we will, we're leaving the bridge behind.
What will we call it? No Bridge of Two.
Just of 2.
That'll be sad. That'll be the death of Bridge of Two.
Season 3 is the death of Bridge of 2.
Yeah. And then
So
season 4 is the resurrection of Bridge of Two.
We make a new bridge.
Yeah. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The bridge reconstitutes. Did anyone expect anything different?
You really shouldn't have.
Anyway. So, yeah, we recorded 45 episodes. Not including... that is including... We did Bridge of Theories, and we did a D&D one. So that's 45 total. And
45 episodes.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It's pretty wild.
But then I'm like, so is season 2 going to be 45 episodes? Or do we need to go back and make this season, this is the beginning of season 3, and season 2 is another season?
This season 1 was 45 episodes. Season 2 will be 45 episodes.
We're the opposite of most things.
Which is annoying because that would make it 90 episodes would be the end of season 2.
It would be so perfect. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
But, most shit things, a show or whatever, the first season is always shorter than the second. Because they're let's see if we can get off the ground.
That's true.
But no, our show...
We never made it off the ground, but we're going for more.
We made it off the ground so good. 45 episodes off the ground.
That's true. That is 45 episodes. Our repulsor lifts have engaged, and we are off the ground. We are making our way into space. It's taken a little bit, but we're getting there.
Amen.
That's the name. The name of our ship is... Our capital cruiser is the Bridge of Two. What type of ship is it, though?
I don't know enough about it.
It's not cool enough to be a superstar destroyer.
What's less than a superstar destroyer?
Just a star destroyer, Imperial class star destroyer, or something along those lines. A Mon Calamari Home 1 type. Those are pretty big too.
Mon Calamari, I like that better. I like the way Mon Calamari look, like jet lobsters.
Who's the captain of our flagship? All right, we're going way off track.
This is season 2.
Sorry, everybody.
Get used to it.
Been in a big Star Wars mood since season 1. So
since season 1, you mean since the entire season 1, or since the end of season?
Since the end of season 1, basically since we stopped recording.
Little did you know it was the end of season 1.
I didn't know it at the time, but I do now. So retroactively telling myself.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So we had a pretty nice hiatus from recording. Spending time over the holidays with friends,
Christmas,
family,
New Year's.
relaxing.
Yep. So we got some presents.
Did get some presents. I've already spent $30 on my Barnes & Noble gift card.
Nice.
On Star Wars books.
I mean, it feels good.
It does feel good.
I already spent my entire Amazon gift card, mainly on books.
Oh yeah, nice. You got the.
I got the Silmarillion hardcover illustrated by the author J.R.R. Tolkien. Really nice.
When are you gonna get?
And the Lord of the Rings, same thing.
Okay, so that's when are you gonna get that?
It just came in.
Okay,
I should have sent you a picture. Well, it was on the shelf.
That's right. I've seen it. I've seen the book in stores.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
I like the red pages, and it's got Elvish lettering and very cool.
Nothing pleases me more than a book like this new thing that they're doing with books where they color the pages like that. Like Dune has the blue pages,
right? Yeah, Silmarine has green
the Expanse.
pages.
The Expanse has a
version?
the pink. They're like pink.
Oh, okay.
It's a really pretty book. It's like the limited edition one that's pink.
That's cool. That's a series I need to.
That's actually going to be my
read.
next. I think it's going to be my next series. I'm going to start
Awesome.
up. I think. Although I've already read the first book twice, so I might just. Go
Yeah,
to the
I've read the
second
first book. I'd probably just go to the second one.
book. I'll probably go to the second one. I own the second.
Plus,
one.
I've seen the show, so like, it's somewhat.
Yeah.
It's pretty faithful. I think they condensed some characters, but
I remember what happens, so I'll remember the characters as they come up.
So, what else have we been doing?
I've been doing a lot.
What have you been doing? Let's go.
Oh man. Oh gosh. A lot of reading. I have done a lot of reading. I've been
Nice.
schools in between. Yeah, I've been doing a lot. I've been in a really big reading kick, which is very nice actually. I think since we have finished, because our last episode was with Clay.
Yep.
Since then, I have finished his book,
Right.
and I have read 3.5 more.
Yeah. This is
And
Jeremiah.
that's not counting. That's not
in
counting
his
audio.
form.
That's not counting audiobooks. I've listened to a few audiobooks too.
You have what?
I'm making my way through the Galaxy's Edge series still.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually about to finish. For the first time, I finally got caught up to where I was initially.
The galaxy is a dumpster fire.
So I'm getting caught. I got caught up to where I was initially, and I'm actually about to finish the first season, and I'll stop there probably for a while, because that's what I think. The next season has different characters, but my goodness, is it just a roller coaster of just whew.
So you said you're about to finish the first season. What is the last book? Like, what's the like? How many books are in that
10.
season? Okay.
10, yeah,
Because
10 or
my
11.
brother-in-law Joe had read pretty far into that series. I don't know that first season. I don't know if he read all 10, but he was like on book 8 or something at one point.
It
He
definitely
definitely got into that series.
took a turn I was not expecting.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, he mentioned some things about like by book 4, book 5, like things get really crazy, and
Yeah.
book 6 is really crazy.
Crazy. There's like so different factions now. There's like, oh man, the Republic and the Legionnaires are against each other. And there's like this empire that's going in now and destroying things. And then there's this
Sweet.
like cybernetic thing that's coming in now, and it's a problem.
Is it like was the what they call the Cybar? Were they the forerunners of that?
It's technically the cyber, but I guess there's something else. So now we're learning there's like a whole other. I think we're about to learn at the end of. I'm at the end of the 9th book, and I think we're about to learn that there's like this whole other thing that's been going on underneath all of this, and that just got found out.
Oh,
But a lot of the main characters, like a lot of the head lead characters, like the Legion Commander, and they died. So like it's all about to fall on you. You remember Chun,
yeah.
Captain Chun, or Lieutenant Chun, whatever he was, whatever he.
Yeah.
It's all about to fall on him and Wraith. I have a feeling, and all that. So yeah, it's just taking a wild turn. It's just one of those books. It's been such really fun to. I listen to it while I run, a lot.
Yeah.
And when I drive to work and home from work, and it's just been really fun to get through. And I think I've gone through like three of them at this point now since
Nice.
I started listening to them again around the break. So yeah, lots
Impressive.
of reading. Yeah, I finished Clay's book. Clay's book was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Character wise, I mean, not the best in my opinion. Just to be honest, I mean, it's like they were none of the. I didn't really. I like the main character.
Mm-hmm. It's first person, isn't it?
Yeah, which is also very weird to read as first person. But the rest of the characters, I just kind of had a hard time just liking. But I liked the story, and I really, especially at the end there, liked the world building and the magic system. Really intrigued me, and that kept me going. And by the time he had his own little like Sanderlanche type thing, and it definitely was good. Like it had a good ending, and it was definitely enough for me to. I want to read the next book.
Yeah,
I want to see where he's going to take it, because it's basically whatever was happening in the first book kind of got resolved. And I feel like now he was leaving little tidbits of things in the first book that is going to be the main part of the second book is my guess.
Okay.
So I did enjoy it.
Nice.
And then after that, I picked up the X-Wing Rogue Squadron series by Michael J. Stackpole.
Yeah.
Written back in like the 90s. Back when, the OG Legends
Shout out
stuff.
to the 90s.
Yeah, I love the OG Legends stuff.
Yeah.
So I had bought the first book, Rogue Squadron, months back. I don't remember when, but months back, and it's been sitting on my shelf. I've been meaning to read it. I just haven't, because I was going through the Era 2 again of Mistborn and then
Yeah.
all that. And so finally picked it up, and man, I read like the first chapter and was hooked immediately, and just pushed me back to a little bit of a Star Wars kick. And I'm on now about to finish the 4th book, which is like out of Michael J. Stackpole's. That's like he has 4, and I think like they're like a contained story. Then the next 4 or 5 or whatever is like a different author, and it doesn't even follow Rogue Squadron anymore. It follows something I think called Wraith Squadron.
Okay.
So I'll read those at one point,
That's
but
a
not.
cool name.
Yeah, I'll read them at one point, but I'm not really like super invested in getting to that. But no, this series has been really good. It's been hard for me to put down, actually. I've like flown through them.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed reading them, and like I said, it's kind of got me back into a Star Wars mood.
Awesome. Right in time.
Yeah.
Right in time for the Star Wars role playing thing that you're cooking up.
We are going to be starting Star Wars role playing soon.
So it's like D&D. It's gonna be like a D&D 5e campaign, but it's using Star Wars world building. And there's like you found a
basically a rule book and monster manual guide. So we know for that someone like converted to 5e.
Right.
That's free on the internet. Which I was looking through, looked really good. And I probably have to like homebrew a lot of like monster stuff like that, but I don't think it'll be hard to transfer like a stormtrooper from a archer.
Right.
It's not gonna be.
Right.
Although we're not gonna be. Pretty sure this is gonna take place in the Old Republic era, because I feel like there's a lot you could do story wise there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to my Gungan.
Can't believe you're gonna be a Gungan.
I mean, it's not set in stone, but I just thought just the idea of a Gungan that's like this awesome like ranger type character that's a Gungan, but he has the Gungan speech impediment.
But he's just like a bounty hunter.
He has a bounty hunter like Misa, like.
Oh man, that's gonna kill me throughout the whole.
Misa gonna separate your filthy head from your filthy shoulders. I'll have to work on it. I'm gonna have to listen to some Gungan to get
good
the
luck.
speech down. Because it's
They have a whole section in the Clone Wars TV show with Gungans, where they're pretty prominent. You should go there.
Yeah.
And they have some gruffer voices, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I'll make a tape that'll loop while I sleep, and then I'll wake up speaking Gungan.
It's not going to go away either. Your wife's going to be so upset. Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's been in the works for a while now, and finally kind of pushing it to get going. So, because I'm definitely excited to do that.
Nice. What else?
I mean, more Star Wars stuff. I don't think I had done it by the time we did, but I finished Fallen Order again.
Oh, the game.
The game.
That. Yeah.
I finished that again. I don't remember if I did that by the last episode or not. I don't think so.
I don't remember either.
But reminded me of how just freaking phenomenal that game is.
Yeah.
Such a
very good.
Story is so cool. They actually have a book that's going to be coming out around the same time as the Jedi Survivor.
Is it Cal Kestis, the main character?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's going to take place in between Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Awesome. Bridge the gap.
Bridge the gap. Yeah, a lot of Star Wars. A lot of Star Wars. Do
you feel like the holidays make you want Star Wars? Do you feel like there's some kind of like memory, not memory, but like nostalgia thing because it's Christmas time? Maybe you feel more nostalgia. Do you feel like you get pulled back more towards Star Wars stuff?
Oddly enough, I normally get pulled back towards fantasy stuff.
Okay.
Fantasy novels, fantasy games, like
okay.
Star Wars is one of those things that just Steph, I will randomly just get something will trigger, whether I play a game, I see a TV show, whatever, and I will just all of a sudden get on a major Star Wars kick. It's one of the few things that like consistently I get on random kicks and they'll last for a month or two or however long. Because I end up just freaking going headstrong into it and like consuming so much media of it, and then my brain gets tired of it real quick,
like a binge.
Pretty much. So, but no, I don't think it necessarily happens around Christmas time. It just happens randomly.
Yeah.
I think what triggered this one was the Jedi Survivor trailer.
Yeah.
And
that was a good trailer.
And then I started playing Fallen Order again.
Right.
And then it was downhill from there. Or uphill. I did start watching the Rebels TV show.
The Rebels, okay.
Yeah, the cartoon one.
Yeah.
I never watched it because I was like, the art style just really threw me off. And Clone Wars did too initially. But I gave the Rebels a bit, and it just I don't know. But I decided to watch it again because I heard the story is actually pretty decent, and the Ahsoka TV show coming out soon.
Yeah,
is probably gonna be tied in a little bit with it. Ezra's pretty sure they've already announced Ezra's gonna be in it.
Yeah, I think they did.
So I'm on season 2. It's actually really good. Art style notwithstanding, it's actually a really good show. So
yeah, I think I haven't watched it either. Kind of same thing, but the stuff I've seen from it and the stuff I know about it, it's like definitely got the same really good. Seems like the same really good like Clone Wars storytelling.
Written by Dave Filoni
stuff.
So,
yeah,
Jon Favreau and all them.
And actually, like I feel like the art style has grown on me a little bit. Like just like the characters are more so. The characters have become a little bit more iconic to the degree that you kind of accept the art style because that's the way they look in that art style.
So I like the art style for. I actually like the art style for most people except for the humans.
Yeah,
Ezra and Kanan and even Sabine when she takes her helmet off, although she's not as bad, but they just throw me off.
What about Ben Kenobi?
Specifically Ezra and Kanan.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about the way they're designed. The art style for their faces, Ezra in particular.
Ezra has a big nose.
Yeah, it just throws me off. Everywhere else, the Twi'leks look great. I mean, all the ships, Ahsoka looks pretty phenomenal. Like, nothing that bothers me. I don't like the skinny lightsabers, but that's...
Right, yeah.
I can deal with that. It's really just Ezra and Kanan that really throw me... The Stormtroopers are a little weird, too. But other than that, like, it's not... The art style is actually is good in that sense. The humans just throw me off.
Yeah.
So, I can deal with it, though. And you're right. At this point, Kanan and Ezra and all them have come so... It is kind of an iconic look now.
Yeah.
So, but I've very much enjoyed watching that.
I mean, personally, I hope that in the Ahsoka show that Ezra, like, is completely CG and he looks exactly like
that would be a wild ride if that happened.
I mean, have you seen like any of those pictures where it's like someone drawing like they're drawing like some iconic character and they're making them look realistic, but they're still keeping all the same like features, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and how it's like, it's usually like nightmare fuel, but
usually.
Anyway.
But yeah, other than that, just, it's like I said, just big Star Wars kicks. I've been drawing a little bit, not as much as I would like, but my goal this year is to draw more and like get more invested in that.
More!
I just started a new project that I'm not going to tell anybody about, so.
More! Even me?
Me? I'll let you see. I just have a habit of when I tell people projects.
He's gonna let me see, guys.
I don't finish the projects. I feel bad.
It's hard.
I've gotten far in this one. It just getting far is I don't even think I'm halfway done yet. So
I've experienced that too, where it's like it takes away a little bit of the
excitement.
Yeah, excitement. It almost feels like you've completed something because now you've told someone you're doing something, and so it takes away the some kind of the push to do it. I don't know why.
Yeah, the woman actually knows about his stuff, so and that's because I'm just showing it to her.
Right. You just got to keep it cool. You just got to play it cool to yourself, like, hey, look at this thing. Yeah, it's just a thing.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's dumb.
Okay. It's stupid.
Yeah. Just like trick yourself.
It's a stupid piece of artwork. What have you been up to?
A lot as well. I haven't read, like 6 to 9 books or whatever. Like
slacking, bro. Slacking.
But so when we recorded the last time, my story hadn't dropped yet on Mythrill.
It was just about to.
Yeah, it was like they had told me it was gonna be in December probably, but I didn't have like a hard date. And then like, I think it was like a Tuesday, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna be dropping your story Thursday, like in 2 days." I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay,
it's coming out so fast."
So that dropped since we had our last episode, and it is live. Hunting Misfortune.
Go give it a look.
Is on Mythrill. If you type in your app store Mythrill, because that's how it's spelled, but it's one word and it's pronounced Mythrill, or at least that's how I pronounce it.
Yeah, is it actually pronounced that way, or is it?
Well, it isn't spelled. I know it's not supposed to be Mythrill. That's like a marketing thing that they literally tell us like it's not pronounced Mythrill. So it's definitely not Mythrill, even though it's the way it looks. I like the way it's spelled though, because I like that it's spelled MYTH like myth. And I think they were trying to change it because like a lot of I'm so good at tangents, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Go for it.
Tolkien, right? He invented Mythrill.
I never thought this was going to go to Tolkien, but yes.
Always, it's Mythrill.
I should have figured.
Tolkien invented Mythrill.
Yes.
Mithril, right? Well,
MITH?
Yeah. That's how it's spelled in his Legendarium. So, but then his Legendarium spawned the whole genre, modern fantasy. And so Mythrill is in other things, other stories, Mythrill I'm pretty sure is in D&D.
Mythril armor.
It's in a lot of fantasy things, but it's usually spelled MYTHRIL.
Mm-hmm.
So this is spelled like that.
Myth.
Only with an extra L.
Whoa.
So there you go.
I do like that I like the MYTH.
Yeah.
It's kind of like myth, like a myth.
Yes, I like it.
But yes, hunting misfortune.
Yeah, that was a completely necessary tangent.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree.
This is why this podcast exists.
But go give it a listen. Go give it a read. It's
yes. Choose your words carefully.
No, it's really good. I've read most of it. I'm not caught up. But I read most of it before it was even released. What?
You've read you have
Actually, I've read where it's probably up to on Mythrill.
Yeah, you have.
What episode are you on in Mythrill?
28.
Oh, I haven't read that far.
Well, you may have because I broke up some episodes because they were like longer, and so it made the episodes you would have read actually later, but there's some stuff that's about to come out. Like there's some like the next episode that's the one that's releasing Saturday, and maybe I think the one that's releasing Saturday has a pretty metal ending.
That's metal.
That episode. And I don't think you've read this thing yet because you would have mentioned it to me.
Probably not. Am I still linked? Do I still have the link to your? Like, am I still on your?
Yeah, I'm sure you are. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's a little bit, like the editing part of it is a little much because it's like, whenever I know there's an episode about to come out, it's like, okay, I need to like reread this one more time before it goes live, and then I'm like find multiple things. I'm like, oh man, I can make this a lot smoother, and then try to get it over to them to be like, can you re-upload this episode, But so that's been interesting, but it's been fun continuing it, and it's helped me too. The knowing that it's out there and it needs to be finished.
Yeah.
Has helped me like stay pretty consistent with writing, and not I haven't really gotten into any big slumps as far as like ideas and stuff.
Well, good.
And more lore cards. They asked me if I wanted to do some more lore cards. So there's 5 right now, and I'm working on several more, and I'm excited about that.
The artwork for the lore cards is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like
what
they've done with it. Yeah. Fun. And the if you read them too, 2 of them, especially Priv, this other hunter with this mysterious other hunter in the story, or at least in the beginning of the story, there's some pretty interesting backstory stuff with him in his lore card. So anyway, I could talk about that a long time. Maybe we will later. But besides that, I have been playing some stuff. You got your brother. Shout out to Juwu for getting us Magic the Gathering cards.
Yes, shout out to Juwu.
And this rabbit hole that I've fallen down. I wanted to fall down this rabbit hole because
it's
Brandon Sanderson loves Magic the Gathering. He's even written a short novel for it a few years ago. And when we were going to the conference, there was going to be a charity thing, and I was thinking it'd be cool to learn before we went, but I never did.
Yeah.
So now I have I've definitely slipped down the hole, and
I did as well when Josh was here, and because he got us both starter command decks.
Right.
Ju was a big, been a big Magic fan for a while now. Actually, he's always told me about it every time he's come down, but I've just never played. So he wanted to get me into it. So he got me a deck of cards, and he's just like, "Well, Jeremiah needs someone to play with."
Yeah.
So he got you a deck of cards for Christmas too, which is really smart.
It's smart.
But when he was down, we played, quite a few different matches, and I ended up definitely falling in love with it and having a lot of fun playing it. I played a little bit of the app too, but I personally just like having the cards in my hands.
Oh yeah,
it just feels better to be able to look at them and just, I don't know, there's something about it.
The desktop game, you can play the Magic the Gathering Arena, the same thing on the mobile, only you can play it on your computer, and that has I like that like that's my preference between the mobile or that, because it's a lot bigger. You can see everything a lot better. Everything looks a lot like just like the ambience of the play mats per se. They're all living play mats, obviously, and the music and the background stuff. I've actually, since starting to play Magic the Gathering, a couple times I've turned on like on YouTube, found a Magic the Gathering like ambience from the game, and turned that on and listened to it, because it's got like little sound effects, little ambience, and then like little bit of music and stuff like that. It's very, I don't know, just serene. So that's been fun doing that. We played a match. You smoked me. Very good. I actually get beat a lot in Magic. Like when I play on the app a lot, I get beat.
I mean, you gotta get beat. Josh friggin' swamped me. The first few times. His deck is he's a dragon deck.
Okay. So a lot of flying.
A lot of flying, and I do not have a lot of flying in my deck. So
yeah, it's like a game that it feels like you have to probably play it a lot, because you have to know what you might see, what you might run into, and how to counter it, and you have to understand your deck too, and like what might be coming up, how you can.
Definitely a lot of strategy involved of when to attack, when not to attack, when to play this card, when not to play this card.
So that's been fun, and I'm looking forward to doing that more.
We need to get Caleb into it.
Yeah, I think we should. I think that would be a slam dunk. So yeah, the Magic the Gathering, and then I also played, or I got a game called Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Yeah, it came out a few years ago, and the soundtrack kept coming up on Spotify when I would be listening to, music for writing, and I just put the soundtrack on one time and just listened to it, and I was like, oh, I really like this. And then another time I was writing to it, and like the emotion of the scene like hit perfectly with the song I was listening to, and actually like was really moving, and I was like, I need to play this game because this soundtrack is so good. I can tell the vibe of the soundtrack that I would like the game. And it's on the Switch. It's on, I think you can get it on the computer too. But it's basically like the game starts out, and I think it's like you've just died or something. And there's this character that is the Spiritfarer, and basically like when it's almost like in this, this world or whatever, when people die, their spirits, if they have like unfulfilled things, their spirits kind of like linger in like this in between a little bit. And it's your job to go find them, to help them like get kind of closure in a way of like things that they were, trying to figure out or come to grips with or whatever, and then to fare their spirit, like on your little ferry boat thing, which is, you can get bigger boats and smaller ones, to this place, there's this archway that's like where all things begin and end, like there. And so you're the new Spiritfarer, you and your cat. You have like a little like spirit cat. You both have these little orbs of light called Everlight. They're basically like almost in a way like Spren. They're not, I don't think they're alive, but they turn into whatever you need them to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's relaxing.
The art style looks very pleasant.
Yeah, it is a good art style too. It's a very I commend it to all So
Do you think Steph would like it?
Maybe. There's a demo for it.
I might have to pull it. She's trying to find another like relaxing Switch game to play.
I think it's a very relaxing game. It's not like a stressful game,
Because I got her Stardew Valley a long time ago. And she keeps meaning to play it, but she never has. I feel like maybe the art style of this might suit her a little bit more than the pixelated of Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Or 8-bit or whatever.
Got a cat.
It does have a cat too. I mean,
yeah.
Can't go
get the demo and have her try it. I
will do that.
Because it's
she needs something to sit and...
I think it's like the games like that are the games that are like not everyone would pick them up because it's a side scroller and things like that. But I think that it's one of those. It's the kind of game that I think everyone would enjoy if they picked it up and like spent some time with it. You're building up your ship too. Like you get these spirits on there that after a little while they're like they need a little more permanent. They have like a little guest house and they need something more permanent. So then you're like getting some materials and you're building them their own little house and upgrading it with like, I built like a reading corner for this deer spirit, which I don't think I can't tell if they're actually like, if the deer, like there's like a deer, a frog, a snake, and I can't tell if this is like how their spirit appears in this world as these creatures, or if
that's what they were.
If that's what they were, I can't really make that out because you look like a person, Anyway, but so that's been fun. I've been playing that.
Sounds relaxing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Nice.
Other than that,
well, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that Secret Project 1 dropped.
Oh yeah, the year of Sanderson has begun.
The year of Sanderson has begun.
And they, true to their word, Dragonsteel at midnight, I think.
Somewhere in there.
I think it was midnight Mountain Time.
Probably.
They sent out the emails and sent out the audiobook codes and
ebook codes
and all that good stuff, which yeah, there's some interesting stuff about that Brandon Sanderson's doing, trying to encourage competition and kind of
with all the audiobook stuff.
Yeah
but that is it's dropped. I'll be reading that. That'll be our next book once I finish the Back to War, which is the last the fourth Rogue Squadron book. So
that said Bacta? I thought it said Batch.
The Back to War.
I was they're
fighting
down.
They're fighting over
Bacta,
the planet that produces Bacta. Their main bad guy is.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
Resources.
They just took Coruscant in the last couple books.
Who did?
The New Republic.
Okay.
Or the Rebellion. They finally took back.
Good.
This series. So another tangent.
Okay.
Started off, Star Wars meets Top Gun. Fighter pilots, stuff like that. It's X-Wing, Rogue Squadron.
Classic.
That first book was classic Rogue Squadron. They're flying around their X-Wings, cool space battles, awesome dogfights. Second book, it's a stealth mission. They're not flying ships anymore. They are undercover in Coruscant, looking for a way to take down the shields to get their fleet in. Awesome, wonderful. Still hasn't flying it in the end, but it was awesome. Third book. It's what's that movie? It's now a courtroom show, like
Law and Order.
Not Law and Order, but
Few Good Men.
Few Good Men would work. Where it's like someone's on trial, and so half the
like
pages,
military
tribunal, and all that. So half the pages of them, that like one of the fire squadrons used to be a lawyer, and so he's like, it's just hilarious.
That's interesting.
And then, but it's also a prison escape book because someone's, So I'm waiting to see what this one's going to be. This one's probably going to be a little bit more classic Star Wars Rebellion,
because it's like the final in the
and just because what's going on in it. But it's just been really fun, the different types of stuff going on, bunch of different twists and stuff. The main bad guy is interesting. She is interesting. She's got two different colored eyes, an icy blue and a fiery red is how they're described.
Oh, is she some kind of weird in between Jedi and?
Nope, she's just a human. She's an Imperial.
Or is she?
Imperial intelligence.
Well, that's what you think until get to the end.
This is 97, man. They didn't do that yet.
We'll see.
We'll see, I guess.
Yes, we'll see.
There is a lot of spies, people infiltrating the New Republic.
Back in 97, it was just everything was spies.
Yep. Anyway.
James Bond in space.
Tangent over. With that being said, yes, I will be reading the Secret Project next. Tress of the Emerald Sea.
Spoiler warning.
It's out now, and Brandon Sanderson himself has released the title, so I'm allowed to. I mean, I've kept it all for myself. I don't know what any of the books are. But Tress of the Emerald Sea.
Do you want to?
Nope. I kept reading.
Get ready.
When I read the title, I kept reading it as Trees of the Emerald Sea.
Oh.
And now I'm like, kind of upset that it's Tress of the Emerald Sea.
You wanted to be trees? You wanted there to be trees in the Emerald Sea.
Well, I was reading and I was like, what does this have to do with trees? I was literally reading the first couple of chapters. Like, what is this? They specifically mentioned that there are like no trees here. Or something like that.
So maybe that's what the whole book's about.
No, it's Tress.
How trees will get there. Tress is the name of the main character, right? Yeah. Awesome.
It is I like the way it's written. Because it's written like a story being told.
You know what I saw that I thought was really cool? On Goodreads. I think it was Goodreads. Whenever I saw Tress of the Emerald Sea on there, and it said what series it was a part of, and it said Cosmere.
That's awesome.
And that's the first time I've ever seen Cosmere listed as a series.
That's cool.
And so I'm guessing that was deliberate. That's a deliberate thing they're maybe going to be doing.
I would assume
going forward is more directly branding these as Cosmere novels, because that's like Brandon Sanderson said at the convention, the gloves are off.
Oh yeah.
The Cosmere is gonna be out in the open going forward, and all his
yes, it is.
All his Cosmere novels will be blatantly Cosmere novels.
Starting with the Lost Metal, which you were just already getting a taste of. Getting a taste of.
Touching the
very little taste, but you're getting a taste. Just wait.
Good stuff.
What do you say we take a short little break?
Take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk some more. As we do. More season 2 goodness. We're back.
Are we back, Josh?
We're back.
Are we really back?
Season 2 is
part
back.
2. Season 2, part 2.
Season 2, part whatever. Yeah.
Part whatever.
So, let's talk about me.
You. Yay. I'm excited to talk about you.
It's always...
Dude, 850 views?
Yeah.
Look at you, man.
Yeah.
Where are your lore cards at?
It's cool.
How do you look at the lore cards?
It's always hard because it's something I want to talk about. I'm like always ready to talk about it. But then at the same time, it's something where it's like you're talking about yourself in a way because you're something you wrote. And so it's like you don't want to just go crazy talking to someone about it and be like, they didn't really want to know all that. It's like,
well, I want to know all that.
Anyway, so if I feel a little odd about it, but I want to do it, and so let's do it. Let's talk about it.
Is there an easy way to look at lore cards?
If you have unlocked them, there is, my friend.
How do you unlock them?
Do you want to look at the ones? You want to take my phone and look at them?
And I just want to know what episode they're
on. Most of them, I think there's at least 2 on episode 1.
I found the one I wanted.
Okay. Right on. Yeah. Hunting Misfortune.
Hunting Misfortune on Mythrill. J.L. Allred? You still doing J.L. Allred?
Still doing J.L. Allred.
I think that was a good choice.
Every time I asked someone, I felt like I wasn't sure about it because it's a thing you see a lot, authors doing that. But everyone I talked to and asked about it, like you and other people, other family members and things, were all like, J.L. Allred sounds awesome. Do it. So I'm just like, okay, let's stick with it.
It's got a very nice ring to it. It's very pleasant sounding and very professional looking. J.L. Allred. I would have a J.L. Allred sit up on my bookshelf.
Hopefully
one day.
That's the plan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so...
Let's talk a little bit about your world. Yeah, I want to learn a little bit more about your world that you've created.
we've talked about like in bits and pieces, you know, like I'll talk a little bit about writing and stuff. So if you're here listening to this and you're like, I've heard him say this before, I'm sorry.
Well, suck it up and listen again. No. It's just gonna be a little bit more in depth.
Yeah. Just actually looking at it directly instead of it being kind of like this peripheral conversation that we have every once in a while.
Yeah.
About bits and pieces of it. So, the world building, the world itself, I've been working on for, in a way, almost 10 years, because my initial like spark of a story where I was like, I want to try and tell a story, and like a original story, original world building, was an idea of this world where it was perpetual night, and there would be this sunrise that would happen, but it wouldn't fully happen. So it'd be like, you would see like the dawn, you know, that would happen. And then just before the sun actually crested the horizon, it didn't go back down. Not just before, but like it would say like that would be daytime. You know, it would be the period.
Basically what we consider dawn would be daytime.
Right. And then, and so the idea was that there was something keeping the sun from rising in this world. And that was like what the kind of premise of the story was. What's causing that? How do we stop it? Because there's like, in that world, there were rumors that the sun actually rose at one point in the world and things like that. It was more of a YA story because the kids, the main characters were kids, teenagers.
You were younger at this point too, so, right? When you formed this up? Yeah,
I was 24, 25.
Oh, never mind.
So
the old man.
Yeah, not like no, I wasn't a teenager, but anyway, I in thinking about how did things get that way, I started writing a history of that world, and that's where all this world building and storytelling came from. Was starting out of like I need to know I want to know the history of this world. And stuff. So let me so I've got the synopsis of the story, the description pulled up on the Mythrill app. Shout out to Mythrill.
Go check out their other books as well. They're all pretty good. I've read a few episodes, a few different things. They're good.
Yes, some really good writers on there, and prolific too. There's this one author on there, Raven Diamond, and she has 2 stories on there. That are live, Full Moon King, and which releases daily.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now I think she already had it maybe in a different form, and she converted it. So I don't know how much
she's like written
original, but
already had written.
But yeah, that's releasing daily, and then she has another story called God of Gears. Very interesting premise.
That is one of the ones I haven't. I think I might have saved that one to read.
That one launched, I think, with the app when it came out originally, and it has like over 10,000 views.
Yeah, I read the first episode of it because it looked interesting.
It's a very interesting premise of a character getting pulled into a god's scheme, not god's schemes, but like a god's sort of schemes or plans, and given this power and being changed. That's kind of like the premise, the beginning of the story is like pretty hardcore. Anyway, so let me read. So I'll read the description of the story. The storm rules and the world belongs to monsters. Yet at the edge of darkness, the pillar of light burns unceasingly, keeping the last stubborn speck on the map from being snuffed out. But the pillar's unmoving light doesn't reach all shadows, and so Bane hunters tread the dark in a constant struggle to keep the storm's monsters at bay. An obscure Bane hunter named Rowan takes pride in his scars, except one. A routine Bane hunt, a Hellcat, and a rival hunter that's not what he seems will force him to confront an old wound and a larger threat than any he's ever faced. Bum, bum, bum. Enter Hunting Misfortune.
Ba-da.
Ba-da.
Tell me about this world. What's the name?
So
I want to know the world.
Planet would be named Eadrom. Eadrom.
Eardrum.
Eardrum. I guess or eardrum. That sounds a little better.
Eardrum.
Eardrum. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was that intended?
No.
Did you have eardrum in mind when you thought up this? Or
no.
I'm so sorry.
It's like it's a word in like Welsh or something.
Oh, okay.
I think
that's cool.
Yeah,
it means
I forget what it means. No.
It means hearing in Welsh.
I don't know. It means something related to light or darkness. Or
so eardrum?
Yeah.
I think eardrum sounds pretty cool. It's a cool name.
Yeah. And that's the planet. And then you have the lands of light that are the lands that are still that are not covered in the storm is called Arsatir. Which that's a word I just made up. And then they call the lands outside. They don't like know the name of the planet or anything like that. They call it Darkland.
Okay. So basically you have a storm which rages and it brings its darkness and the bane, and then you have the pillar of light which kind of combats that almost in a sense.
Yeah. There's like I'm actually some of the lore of what's at work is not completely solid yet.
Okay.
But I mean, the like immediate what happened to cause that is pretty solid. But there's basically there's these two characters that are almost like heralds. So they're these very powerful characters that would be viewed in the like lore and legend of these people as like almost like god like figures. Not that they like worshipped, but that they
significant amount of power.
They recognized one of them was the Daybringer and one of them was the Void Keeper. So yeah, the Daybringer and the Void Keeper. So it's kind of like the night and dark, the ones that were responsible for the night and dark, light, day and night, were these two figures. And then so the question is, what happened? Why is the dark attacking the light? Because they were supposed to be brothers.
Okay.
And so that's like the kind of deep backstory of that. And then so something did happen, and the pillar of light was a last ditch effort by the people that were fleeing this dark storm and its spread to repel the storm. In so doing, they don't have a nighttime. They have an eternal daytime that dims. So they don't call it evening. They call it the dimming. Happens whenever it's evening. So they sleep during the dimming when the pillar is dimmer and it rains to cool off the land from this perpetual heat. There's also an aspect of the pillar of light where it's balancing. It's balancing the elements. It's not just like light and heat. It's supposed to be like a melding of the elements, so that there's like earth to ground it, wind to is involved in like the clouds and things like that, and then water to like help cool like water from the rain to cool the land and stuff like that. So it's not just the light, the pillar of light. It's like everything that happens related to that. But the important part of this is that it's not just unceasing. It has to be recharged. Every year there's a ritual that has to happen. And when if that ritual doesn't happen, then the pillar goes out. And the ritual involves these 4 nations in Arsatir that have elemental affinity. Wind, water, earth, fire. That they have to
attacked.
Yes.
So 4 nations, they each embody like an element.
They don't. I mean, so I tried not to. I didn't want it to feel too much like Fire Nation.
Okay.
Like, we're all about fire, you know? And we...
So it's like intermingled.
But it's basically like these the magic system is dependent on like extreme elemental forces to create or charge these. They're called essence stones.
Mm-hmm.
So you have essence stones. If there's an extreme concentration of heat, and there's essence stones there, then they will fill with fire essence.
Okay.
And so in those regions are those extreme elemental locations. And that's why there are other stones like that could be mined in those areas, but the primary thing that they have in Kalmar is firestones.
Okay.
Because they have the smoldering forest where the Fireheart dwells, and it's like a forest that's like running with rivers of lava, and the trees like have veins of fire like running up them and things like that. So like that's like one example. So so that pillar of light is charged through some ritual between those four nations every year. But when it goes out, when it comes time for that ritual, the pillar of light goes out while it's being recharged.
Okay.
And so when that happens, things get in. Monsters get in. They're called Bane in this world. So when the Bane get in, they find shadows, and then they make nests, and they find a way to try and survive in that world when the pillar comes back. And that's where Bane hunters, the main character of this story, come into play.
Okay.
So that's a lot, but
no.
Any questions about any of that?
So the pillar of light was created to combat against the storm.
Right.
And the storm... So you said the two brothers, the Void
Keeper
and the
Datebringer.
So was like the Void Keeper like making the storm?
No, so the Void Keeper...
Or are these entities even really, like, are they entities still? Are they still people? Or are they more like a...
They're active. They are active. But I'm trying to think of, like... If it's spoiler... It's not really spoiler.
I mean, if it's spoilery, we can...
I mean, it's stuff that's touched on, but it's not going to be, like, the big reveal. You know, it's sort of... But it is similar to... It's a history that not many people know, like in the world.
Okay.
You know, so basically, this is a fun thing to talk about because it is something that I don't know how much detail will be covered in the story itself. So basically, what happened is like the Daybringer ruled the day. Was like brought the light, things like that. The Void Keeper's responsibility was almost like a shepherd to keep the void in check. So it's like, I was thinking about this the other day. I think that when creation happened, because this is a question in my mind, is who's the creator of this world? Who's the creator of like the living things, right? Because I don't see these two entities as the creators. Or creator. I see them as creation that were created to serve these roles, but I haven't really come to terms fully with like what's the creator's activity and why is it less pronounced than these two entities. But one thing I thought I decided, and I'm gonna work on like writing it down, is I think that when creation happened, so when there was nothing, there was only void, right? There was only formlessness and void. When creation happened, the void itself still wants to be the void. It doesn't just go away. And so the void had to be kept in check. And so the Void Keeper's role is to almost like shepherd and steward and make sure the void stays in check. And that's like I know that's kind of like nebulous, a little bit of a definition. I don't have like a really...
I get what you're saying.
Like, I don't have like a really concrete way of defining that, but so these two entities were introduced by the creator to like humans, like the living things in the world. And they would leave their realms to like impart knowledge. And they taught humans how to weave magic, and through different forms. There was like sigil magic. So there was magic where these kinds of like sigils and designs could create like spells that could kind of run themselves. And then you had weaving. You had where your weaving is more immediate. Mm-hmm. You're doing it. It's happening right then. It takes your will. And when your will leaves it dissipates. It's not something that you can't just like do a matte fire weave and it just stay there and it just run on its own for long. Whereas with sigil magic, you can do things, set them and forget them.
Okay.
Something happened with the sigil magic. One of their students, the Daybringer Voidkeeper's students, was really brilliant, took that knowledge, used it in trying to give himself immortality and like to attain to some himself ascend to like a greater status than like closer to what the Voidkeeper and Daybringer were. He created this sigil like design that was a life siphoner, mm-hmm. and it like killed a ton of people. And when it did that, it like split like the fabric of that world and the void, because the void is connected to death a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the void became so infected with death in this one split moment that became synonymous with the void became synonymous with death.
Okay.
And so when that happened, that split in reality happened too. That's where the storm came from. The storm was like the void coming out, and at the same time, this character was like absorbed into that as well. He did, okay. in a way, he did ascend, but was spread out throughout this like infinite void. Mm-hmm. But the void is just kind of a little bit mindlessly trying to just consume everything. But then it's also, there is a consciousness behind it that goes back to that. So that's a lot as well. But
so
that's some big like world building that is.
So between like the Daybringer and the Void Keeper, like the Void Keeper is not like a bad guy.
No.
If anything, he's a good guy or a good entity or whatever.
Right.
It's not like okay.
Yeah, I wanted in the story, I wanted there to be a kind of underlying like this idea that day and night, like dark and light. Dark is not evil inherently.
Yeah.
It's what is done in the dark or what's corrupting the dark, you know? And so that's very much a kind of a thread through some of it. Like even some of the evil characters, the cult that is trying to bring the pillar down, they have something like a piece of truth that they're saying the pillar of light's unnatural and the void is the natural order of things. And, you know, the whole reason there's Bane and the storm is as a reaction in the other direction. It's reacting to the pillar.
Huh.
And that there would be peace if the pillar wasn't there, you know. So just some interesting nuance in motivations and
so without the storm, is there like a normal day and night cycle on the planet?
Yeah, there would be. The storm is suppressing is like covering,
and then
suppressing.
The pillar of light, was it created by the nations, or was it created by like Daybringer or Void, whatever, and then maintained by the nations?
So,
or is that like an unknown?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely maintained by the nations.
Yeah,
it was definitely not their like brilliance. It was more of, I'm gonna Raffo.
Okay,
I'm gonna Raffo this
because
it is such a big thing.
Look at that. Your first Raffo.
Yeah, I'm just gonna raffle what's happening there because, which I don't know when that will come, but it's one of those things that, as much as I want to talk about it, I
can't. Yeah,
I kind of can't.
No, I gotcha.
Because it's a huge thing.
So how
Maybe
far?
I'll tell you later if you want.
So how far does the Pillar of Light reach? Yeah,
I don't remember. I figured at one point I figured out the like actual. What I thought the actual reach of it was.
Well, there's 4 nations inside of it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of it as far as just the 4 nations?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a circular, Yeah. So, like the spread. So I mean, it goes a little bit. The 4 nations are kind of on a big peninsula. Mm-hmm. That's so like the piece of the continent's kind of jutting out. So there's the bottom half is surrounded by the ocean, and so some of the ocean that is protected by the pillar, some of it's not, which is an interesting aspect. I haven't had a chance to explore very much with the water nation. They have a big navy.
That'd be sketch.
And they actually, the cool thing about the water, they're called Protea, and their people are very aggressive against the darkness. They actually sail their ships out beyond the pillar's reach, and they like just hunt.
That's awesome.
Bane and like dark things that you've never heard of out there. They're like, we don't need to just be protecting what we have. We need to be pushing out. So that's something at some point I'm going to write, and I'm excited too, because I think it'd be very fun, nation to write that. But then you have the 2 nations that are bordering the actual land mass of the continent are fire and earth.
Okay.
So
interesting. Well, I don't know. I think for right now, that's a decent. I mean, I feel like that was a lot of information.
It definitely was.
If you liked hearing about this, stay tuned for more, because I think we'll have more, because I'm very curious about learning more about this. Everything that you just told me now is not something I knew. So I will definitely be asking more questions, and we'll definitely go over this more as much as you're willing to, Mr. JL Allred.
I'll say that the Void Keeper is relevant in Hunting Misfortune. He is a character.
Oh, really?
So you will hear some of this, like you will see some of this, the dynamics of like his history and of his effect on the world, things like that going mentioned and alluded to by him and other characters in the story. So
we'll look forward to that. Yeah. Go to Mythrill, Mythrill.
Yep.
Check out Hunting Misfortune by JL Allred.
You can read the first 2 episodes on their website as well. If you go to mithrillfiction.com and you go to stories at the top, Hunting Misfortune's listed with those stories. And
it is definitely a fun read. Definitely fun, cool, fun characters. The world, I mean, as we just heard, is super cool. Very interesting. So give it a read. I mean, we'll be learning more about the lore. Probably more about the world building and some of the characters later on when we talk about it.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
Thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for talking to me about it, Jeremiah.
Thanks for being willing to talk about your stuff.
You're welcome. Well, this has been the Bridge of Two podcast.
A far, far away bridge. Season 2, baby.
Season 2. I like it. That's the new podcast intro song. Sorry, Juwu.